The woman who once stood at Jeff Bezos' side may have just pulled the biggest betrayal in billionaire history. And what happened next? Shocked even his closest circle. Script insiders say it started with whispers on Wall Street, a quiet, murmurs in private trading rooms, a sudden, unexplained shift in Amazon stock patterns. At first, analysts brushed it off, just another billionaire reshuffling assets. But then, leaked documents surfaced, and what those papers revealed left Jeff Bezos furious, blindsided, and humiliated. According to these documents, Sánchez, Jeff's glamorous partner, allegedly moved more than $3 billion worth of Bezos' personal Amazon shares. Without his direct knowledge? Yes, you heard that right. $3 billion sold off in silence. Behind closed doors, for the richest man in the world. This wasn't just money, it was control, power, identity, and insiders, say Bezos. Felt like his empire was slipping straight through his hands. Picture this, late at night in Bezos' Seattle estate. The glow of monitors lighting up the room. His financial team rushing in, pale-faced, whispering about a transaction they couldn't explain. Bezos staring at the screen, frozen. $3 billion gone dash, liquidated. One insider described the moment. Like this, he slammed the desk so hard the glass cracked. He just kept repeating, "How could she do this? How could she do this to me?" For Bezos, this wasn't just about Lauren moving money. It was about betrayal at the deepest level. The woman he had publicly defended, showered with gifts, flown to space on his rocket ship, had allegedly cashed out his stock under the radar. And what's worse, sources say Bezos didn't even find out from her. He found out through a leaked file that made its way into the hands of his advisors. Humiliation. That's the word people closest to him are using. Humiliation on a scale the world's richest man never expected to face. But here's where it gets even more dramatic. Lauren do it. Some believe she wanted leverage. A private war chest, protection in case things between her and Jeff fell apart. Others whisper it was revenge, a quiet strike after years of feeling like she was trapped in Jeff's shadow. An alleged friend of Lauren's told reporters off the record. She was tired of living in his empire, always at his mercy. She wanted freedom, and freedom costs money. Freedom to the tune of $3 billion. The fallout was immediate. Bezos' circle described him as spiraling. One insider said he stormed into a meeting shouting, "I trusted her with everything." With everything. Others said he fell into a cold silence, barely speaking to staff for days. Walking the halls of his mansion with his head down, muttering about betrayal and the media. They smelled blood. Headlines started swirling. Did Sánchez drain Bezos' fortune? Secret stock sale rocks Amazon founder's personal life. The narrative was clear. Bezos, a man who built an empire by controlling every move, had been outplayed in his own home. But this wasn't just a personal scandal. Experts warned the sale could ripple into Wall Street itself. Billions in stock dumped in one quiet move. Investors began to panic, whispering about instability at the very top of Amazon. In a leaked call, one hedge fund manager reportedly said, "If Sánchez can pull this off, what does that say about Bezos' control? What does that say about Amazon?" The implication was devastating. If Jeff Bezos couldn't control his own household, could he still control his empire? And here's the kicker. People close to Bezos claim he confronted Lauren immediately, furious, demanding answers. But instead of backing down, she allegedly looked him straight in the eye and said, "You think you own everything, but you don't own me." The room went silent. The richest man alive left speechless. And that was only the beginning. They thought it was just market noise. But then, a single anonymous file landed on a reporter's desk, and what? It exposed sent Wall Street into chaos. It all began quietly. Hedge fund managers started noticing strange movements. Amazon stock massive chunks slipping off the grid. No announcement, no memo, just billions shifting hands as if evaporating into the night. At first, they dismissed it. A billionaire rebalancing his portfolio, nothing more. But then came the tip-off. According to insiders, a mysterious envelope appeared at Bloomberg's financial desk. No return address, no name. Just one flash drive inside, and on that drive, files marked with Jeff Bezos' initials, timestamps, and transaction codes. When analysts opened the documents, the pattern became undeniable. The sales weren't random. They were targeted, coordinated, and linked back to someone far closer than Bezos ever expected. Lauren Sanchez insiders whisper, Lauren hadn't just stumbled into the sale. They claim she had been planning it for months, meeting quietly with a shadow advisor, someone who knew the markets, someone who knew how to cover their tracks. One trader described it like corporate espionage. The moves were too precise. It was like watching a military operation layered, hidden, impossible to trace unless you had inside files. And that's exactly what this leak provided, a trail of encrypted emails, private logins, and late-night transfers routed through offshore accounts. But here's where it turns darker. What was Lauren's motive? Sources close to her say she wasn't just chasing money, she was chasing power. A safety net, maybe even revenge. A friend allegedly told Page 6, Lauren was tired of being treated like the passenger in Jeff's empire. She wanted her own throne. And she wasn't going to ask for it. She was going to take it. The whispers didn't stop there. Reports surfaced of forbidden meetings, Lauren slipping into private rooms at luxury hotels, guarded by discreet staff. One insider swears they saw her meeting with a former Goldman Sachs strategist, a man known for advising billionaires in higher-risk divorces. And then, the calls. Encrypted, timed to avoid suspicion. Messages bouncing off servers in Switzerland and the Cayman Islands. One leaked snippet allegedly captured Lauren's voice, saying, he thinks he owns everything. But he doesn't see me coming. Chilling words. Words that painted a picture of not just a lover, but a rival. Meanwhile, Wall Street was buzzing. Hedge fund managers debated openly. Was this a cash grab or a coup? In one leaked call between two traders, one warned, if Lauren's making moves this bold, Bezos isn't the one in control anymore. She is. The thought shook investors. The richest man alive, suddenly at risk of being undermined, not by competitors, not by regulators, but by the person closest to him. And still, the biggest question remained. Was this about billions of dollars? Or was it about leverage and a relationship crumbling behind the scenes? Insiders say the timing was no accident. Jeff and Lauren's romance, once celebrated with yacht trips and public displays, had grown strained. Tense dinners, cold silences, endless arguments about money and power. One source whispered, so maybe this wasn't just financial. Maybe it was emotional warfare. And when Bezos finally realized the sale wasn't random, wasn't accidental, but orchestrated, insiders say his fury turned into something darker. Because to Jeff Bezos, this wasn't just betrayal, it was an attack from inside his own home. And what happened when he confronted Lauren? That moment would be unlike anything the world had ever seen. What happened inside Jeff Bezos' private mansion that night was never meant to be heard by the public. But thanks to leaked audio, the world now knows how far this billionaire breakdown really went. The confrontation exploded in Bezos' Medina estate. Sources say Jeff stormed into the living room after midnight, documents in hand, his face red with fury. Lauren sat calmly, sipping a glass of wine. She knew what was coming. An insider described the moment as a war zone of words. Jeff allegedly slammed the papers onto the marble counter and shouted, $3 billion, Lauren. $3 billion. Do you have any idea what you've done? Lauren didn't flinch. She stared back, cool, unbothered. That only enraged him more. And then came the leaked audio. A 47-second clip circulated in elite circles, later shared with reporters under strict anonymity. The recording captures Bezos' voice, furious, cracking under pressure. You can hear him yell, "You've sabotaged me, do you understand? This isn't just money. This is power. My name, my empire." In the background, Lauren's voice cuts through. Calm, sharp. Your empire. Jeff, you act like it belongs to you alone. Maybe it's time you realized it doesn't. Insiders. Who heard the tape say the tone was chilling? Bezos, the man who once controlled the biggest company in the world with robotic precision, sounded panicked. Cornered. One source close to the couple described it like this: it wasn't Jeff Bezos, the billionaire CEO. It was Jeff Bezos, the man who'd just discovered his partner might be his biggest enemy. Reports say the fight raged for hours. Shouting, accusations, doors slamming. Staff claimed they could hear raised voices echoing through the halls. At one point, Bezos allegedly shouted, "You're dismantling everything I built." From the inside, "Is that your plan? To ruin me?" To which Lauren supposedly responded with ice in her voice, "No, Jeff, to free myself from you." Those words, insiders say, broke him. But it didn't stop there. Sources claim Bezos accused Lauren of plotting with outside force, hinting she may have been in contact with Wall Street rivals, even political power brokers. "Who's behind you?" he reportedly asked. "Who's pulling the strings?" Answer, according to one insider. A cryptic laugh. That laugh haunted him. By the next morning, the fallout was undeniable. Staff said Bezos was pacing the halls, muttering phrases like, "She's against me. She's against me." He reportedly locked himself in his study, calling lawyers, financial advisors, even old rivals. He wanted answers. He wanted control back. But insiders say Lauren didn't back down. Instead, she was spotted days later in Los Angeles, smiling, glamorous, draped in designer clothes. Almost as if nothing had happened. Almost as if she had already won to the outside world. The Bezos-Sánchez romance was still intact. But behind closed doors, it was collapsing. One insider summed it up bluntly. That night changed everything. Jeff realized he wasn't just fighting Wall Street or regulators. He was fighting the person sleeping next to him. And what Bezos did next would send shockwaves through Silicon Valley. Insiders say that after the explosive fight with Lauren, Bezos was desperate. His empire suddenly felt fragile, his trust destroyed. And in that moment of vulnerability, he allegedly did the unthinkable. He picked up the phone and called Elon Musk. Yes, Musk, the man he's battled for years in the space race. The man who publicly mocked Blue Origin. The man who once laughed at Bezos, calling his rocket pathetic. So why Musk? According to sources, Bezos believed only someone who knew the sting of betrayal and the ruthlessness of high-stakes power could advise him in a leaked transcript of their alleged conversation. Musk can be heard chuckling before saying, "So, Lauren outplayed you, huh? Welcome to the club, Jeff. The empire always crumbles from the inside." Bezos, his voice low, reportedly fired back. "This isn't over, Elon. I need to know how you'd strike back." Musk's advice: brutal and simple. Control the narrative. Make her look reckless. Hit her where it hurts. Public opinion. But while Bezos was whispering with Musk, Lauren was already making her own power moves. Instead of tech billionaires, she turned to Hollywood. Insiders say she leaned on her circle of celebrity friends, people with massive platforms and influential connections. One name kept coming up in whispers: Joe Rogan. According to one report, Lauren was spotted dining in Los Angeles with Rogan and a former political strategist. Witnesses claim the conversation was intense, conspiratorial, almost like a war council. What were they plotting? A media strike? A full-blown campaign to flip public perception? One insider claimed Lauren wanted to paint herself as the victim of Bezos's controlling empire, turning tabloids and podcasts into her personal battlefield. She knows how to win the optics war, the source said. Jeff has money, but Lauren has influence. Meanwhile, Bezos was sharpening his own counterattack. Advisors say he considered freezing assets, calling in favors from old allies in finance and politics. One insider revealed Bezos allegedly told his legal team, "If she wants to play games with my fortune, I'll remind her who owns the board." What followed was described as a chess match of billionaires and celebrity power players. On one side, Bezos, fueled by rage, plotting financial retaliation, backed by the cold logic of Elon Musk's advice. On the other, Lauren, glamorous, strategic, surrounding herself with Hollywood's loudest voices and political whispers. Insiders say the stakes weren't just billions. It was reputation, image, control over the narrative. Because in the world of billionaires, perception is power. And both Bezos and Lauren knew it. The question wasn't who had more money. The question was, who could destroy the other first? And when the first shots were fired, the fallout was more explosive than anyone could have imagined. The richest man in the world doesn't go down without a fight. And now, insiders say Jeff Bezos is preparing the most ruthless legal war of his life, one that could drag Lauren Sánchez into a courtroom spectacle no one expected. After weeks of private screaming matches and whispered plotting, Bezos made his next move? Not in public, not in the press, but in the cold. Calculating world of lawyers and litigation, sources close to the Amazon founder say he's assembling a team of legal assassins, the kind of attorneys who charge $1 million just to take a meeting. His mission: to strike back at Lauren with the only weapon sharper than his wealth. The law. Insiders say Bezos is exploring every option. Lawsuits over unauthorized stock sales, claims of betrayal of trust, even whispers of corporate sabotage. One insider revealed, Jeff kept saying this wasn't just betrayal in love. This was betrayal in business. He wants to make it clear: no one undermines Jeff Bezos and walks away unscathed. And then came the bombshell. Court documents leaked to a handful of reporters hinted at potential explosive depositions, names of staff, advisors, even private jet crew members who allegedly overheard Lauren discussing quiet deals and emergency transfers. One source swore the document suggested Lauren had been overheard saying, "If he thinks he controls everything, wait until I pull the trigger." That line, if entered into court, could be devastating. But the biggest shockwave? The pre-NUP, yes, Bezos and Lauren have always brushed off questions about contracts. But insiders claim there's a hidden loophole buried deep in their financial arrangements. A clause so vague it could swing billions depending on who wins in court. One lawyer who reviewed the leaked language described it as a ticking time bomb. If Lauren plays it right, she could claim a massive cut of assets. Not just stock, not just property, control, influence, even leverage over Blue Origin itself. Bezos, insiders say, is spiraling into paranoia, convinced Lauren has a network of secret allies feeding her legal strategy. He reportedly told his attorneys, "She's not fighting alone. She's got people behind her. We need to smoke them out." As a result, his team is allegedly digging deep, combing through phone records, private emails, even security footage from Bezos's estates. One source said the vibe inside Jeff's inner circle feels less like a law office and more like a war room. And Lauren, she hasn't blinked, spotted. Leaving a Beverly Hills restaurant last week, she smiled at paparazzi and joked, "Oh, don't worry. I always play fair. But insiders say she's quietly preparing to, gathering witnesses, calling on her Hollywood connections, and reminding everyone who will listen that Jeff Bezos is not invincible. The stage is set. On one side, the richest man alive, backed by an army of elite lawyers, desperate to protect his throne. On the other, the woman accused of undermining him from the inside, armed with secrets, allies, and a prenup loophole sharp enough to cut his empire in half. And when this case finally explodes into open court, insiders warn it could expose more than money. It could reveal the ugliest secrets of Bezos's private world. Because this isn't just a breakup. This is a billionaire courtroom war, and everyone is waiting to see who falls first. It started with a single photograph, Jeff Bezos, stepping out of a black SUV in Manhattan, his trademark confidence gone. Shoulders slumped, eyes tired. A man who looked less like the richest man alive, and more like someone who had just lost everything. Within hours, tabloids exploded. Headlines screamed, Bezos on the brink, world's richest man, crumbling in public. Insiders say Bezos has barely slept, his paranoia consuming him. Court battles looming. Billion-dollar betrayals gnawing at his every move. And now, the cracks are showing in public. At a private investors' dinner, sources claim Bezos stumbled through his remarks, his voice shaky, his hands trembling. One insider whispered, "This wasn't the Jeff Bezos we knew. This wasn't the calculating genius. This was a man on the edge of collapse, and the timing couldn't be worse." Reports say Blue Origin investors are panicking. With Bezos distracted and humiliated, whispers spread that confidence in his space. Company is evaporating. Rivals are circling. Even Elon Musk allegedly quipped in a leaked text, "If Bezos can't control his own house, how can he run a space race?" Meanwhile, Sánchez is playing an entirely different game. While Bezos looks broken, Lauren is thriving. Cameras caught her in Beverly Hills, radiant in designer gowns, smiling effortlessly as she slid into the back of a limo. No trace of stress, no hint of scandal. Just glamorous defiance. And that contrast, it's fueling whispers that Lauren is winning the optics war. One Hollywood insider put it bluntly, "She looks like the victor. He looks like the casualty." But insiders warn, appearances can be deceiving. Behind closed doors, Bezos is allegedly spiraling into obsession. One staffer claims he spends hours replaying the leaked audio of their fight, muttering about betrayal. Another says he's demanded daily updates on every move Lauren makes, tracking her meetings, her trips, even her Instagram posts. He feels like he's losing control, one source revealed. And when Jeff Bezos feels out of control, that's when things get dangerous. The public meltdown is more than a personal drama. It's threatening Bezos's legacy. Commentators now ask, could this scandal define him more than Amazon? More than Blue Origin? More than his billions? Because to the public, perception is everything. And right now, the perception is brutal. Bezos unraveling. Lauren untouchable. But insiders hint at something even darker. Bezos, they say, isn't just humiliated. He's furious, determined to strike back with everything he has left. Courtroom wars, media manipulation, financial retaliation. One source claimed he told his lawyers just last week, "If she wants a war, then I'll give her one. And I don't lose wars." So the question becomes, who will survive this billionaire breakup of trust? Will Bezos claw his way back, using his fortune and fury to crush Lauren's influence? Or will Lauren's defiance, her Hollywood allies, and her control of the narrative leave him permanently broken in the eyes of the world? One thing is certain, the next move will shock everyone, and the endgame could cost billions. The war between Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez may look like a breakup. But what if it's something much bigger? What if the woman he trusted most was secretly engineering the downfall of his empire? The fallout from the scandal has left the world stunned on one side. Bezos, once untouchable, now visibly unraveling, his every public appearance dissected for signs of weakness. On the other, Lauren Sanchez, radiant, unbothered, wielding the kind of influence money can't buy. But insiders say this isn't just about love. This isn't just about $3 billion. This is about power and the ultimate. Betrayal may not have even happened yet. Whispers are now swirling in financial and political circles. Was Lauren really acting alone, or was she secretly aligning herself with Jeff's greatest enemies? Some point to rivals in Silicon Valley, billionaires who would love to see Bezos weakened. Others speculate about Wall Street hedge funds, who could profit enormously from instability inside Amazon. One anonymous insider put it. Chillingly, Lauren wasn't just selling stock. She was lighting a fuse. The explosion hasn't even happened yet. Theories are multiplying. Was the $3 billion sale just the first domino in a larger plan? A plan to dismantle Bezos' grip on Amazon, piece by piece. One leaked email, reportedly, circulating among Bezos' lawyers. Hints at strategic meetings Lauren allegedly attended with high-level executives outside of Amazon. No names have been confirmed, but insiders suggest these weren't just social gatherings. They were war councils. The suggestion is clear. Lauren may not just be walking away with money. She may be walking away with leverage. And then there's the emotional dagger, insiders say. Jeff has been asking himself one haunting question. Was she with me or against me from the very start? According to one close friend, Bezos broke down. Privately, admitting, "I built rockets to escape Earth. I built Amazon to control the world. But the one person I thought I could trust may have been my undoing." It's the kind of paranoia that could destroy even the strongest empire. Meanwhile, Lauren's moves only add fuel to the fire. Spotted at elite events, surrounded by Hollywood power players, she's making it clear. She's not hiding. She's not apologizing. She's thriving. To her critics, it looks like arrogance. To her supporters, it looks like victory. But to Bezos, it looks like war. One insider close to the Amazon founder claims he's convinced Lauren has inside help. Possibly political operatives, possibly foreign investors. Even whispers of rivals in the space industry. And that raises the most dangerous possibility of all. That Bezos isn't just facing a personal betrayal, he's facing a coordinated takedown. So what happens next? Will Bezos unleash the full force of his wealth, his lawyers, and his global influence to crush the woman who betrayed him? Or will Lauren's defiance, her connections, and her alleged secret allies turn the tables once and for all, leaving Bezos as the man who lost everything? Not to regulators, not to competitors, but to the person he loved most. No one knows, but one thing is certain. This isn't over, because if the whispers are true, if Lauren Sanchez is playing the long game, then Jeff Bezos may not be fighting for his relationship. He may be fighting for the survival of his empire. And when the truth finally comes out, it won't just shock Wall Street. It won't just shake Silicon Valley. It will change the legacy of the richest man alive.